Welcome to the TOEFL Podcast, Episode 5. You're listening to Episode 5 of the TOEFL Podcast for those who are studying for the test of English as a foreign language, or the IELTS, the International English Language Testing System, or for those who are just interested in improving their English. We'll begin, as always, with a dialogue, followed by an explanation, a repetition of the dialogue at a native rate of speech, and a comprehension question. Let's get started.
It's such a hassle registering for these classes. On top of everything, I have to find myself an apartment.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I had to wait in line for 25 minutes just to get a form to register with.
You mean you didn't do it online?
No, I didn't know you could. Did you?
Absolutely. It was still a hassle, but it beats standing in line. Just log in with your student ID number and then use the last 4 digits of your Social Security number as a temporary password. You can reset the password once you're logged in.
But I'm always afraid the computer is going to screw up my schedule somehow.
Don't worry about that. It isn't a big deal. If you get a confirmation page and print it out, you can always use that at the registrar's office to show them your correct schedule.
Great. I'd love to have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, so I'd have Tuesdays and Thursdays to schedule my work-study assignment.
Makes sense to me. I hate having classes on Fridays, though. I end up blowing off classes more than attending them.
I hear you. Well, I want to go home and log into the website, but first we need to eat. I'm starved. Our dialogue begins with the woman saying that it's such a hassle registering for these classes. The expression, it's such a hassle, means it's very difficult. It's very, causes me problems. A hassle is a problem or a trouble that you have doing something. A somewhat informal expression. It's a hassle. It's difficult. To register for classes means to sign up for classes, to officially get the classes on your class schedule or list of classes that you will be taking in a given quarter or semester. The woman says that on top of everything, I have to find myself an apartment. On top of everything is an expression that means in addition to all the other things. So you can say, for example, I need to go to the store, I need to get my car fixed, and on top of everything, I have to pay my tuition today. Means this is even worse than the things that I have to do already, that I've already mentioned. So this woman has to register for classes, and on top of that, or on top of everything, she also has to find an apartment, which is even more work. The man says that he had to wait in line for 25 minutes just to get a form to register with. A form is a general term for any piece of paper or any information that you have to give to someone. For example, when you register for classes or you sign up or apply for a visa, you have to fill out a form. Means you have to put information down usually on a piece of paper that answers the questions or gives the information that you are asked to give. The woman asked the man if he registered online or over the internet, and he said he didn't know you could. The woman replied by saying, "It beats standing in line." That is, registering on the internet is better than standing in line. When we say it beats something, we mean it's better than. For example, watching TV beats going outside and mowing or cutting the lawn. It's better than. The woman mentioned that the man will need a Social Security number. Social Security number is sort of like an identification number that all U.S. American citizens and residents have. Usually they get one very young, and it is used as an identification number for many things in the United States. The woman tells the man that he can log in with his student ID or identification number. To log in, of course, is to put your information in the computer so that it lets you go into a certain piece of software or a certain program. The woman says to the man that he can reset his password. To reset your password means to create a new one, to do it again. Usually when in some computer programs, some internet websites, you register, it gives you pick your own username, then it gives you a password, and you can go in and reset your password to something you want. The man complained that he was afraid the computer was going to screw up his schedule. To screw up something is an informal expression, means to ruin, to give yourself problems, or to make something worse. If someone says to you, "Don't screw up," they mean don't make a mistake, don't make it worse. Your schedule, we already explained, is the list of classes that you have with the days that you will be taking them. The woman told the man not to worry about it, that it's not a big deal. When someone says it's a big deal, they mean it's very important. So when someone says it's not a big deal, they mean it's not very important. We also use the expression it's not a big deal can also mean it's not difficult. It's not difficult to do. Don't worry about registering online. It's not a big deal. It doesn't require a lot of work. But usually it just means it's not important. The woman said that if you register, you get a confirmation page. Confirmation is sort of like a receipt. When you buy something, you get a receipt. When you register for something on the internet or some other way, you often get a confirmation which says, yes, you were successful in registering for your class. The registrar on an American university campus, the registrar is the place who takes care of your registrations. The registrar is the person or the office that is responsible for making sure that you get all of your classes correctly entered into the computer, so that if you ever need a list of your classes and the grades that you got, what we would call a transcript, you would go to the registrar office or the registrar's office. The man says that he wants to get a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, meaning classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. so that he can have Tuesdays and Thursdays to schedule his work-study assignment. Work-study, hyphenated, work-study, is a special program that many universities have that allows the student to work on campus so that they can pay their tuition. And it's a special federal program, but many universities also have work-study for some international students. Not a lot of universities, but some universities do that. The woman says that she doesn't like having classes on Fridays because she ends up blowing them off. She says, I end up blowing off classes. Two expressions there. Both of them are two-word verbs. To end up means that I'm going to eventually do something. I'm going to end up going to see that stupid movie. Means I really don't want to, but that's probably what I will do. So to end up here means that I will eventually do something. To blow off, another two-word verb, to blow off means not to pay attention to ignore. In this case, it would mean not to go to your classes. I'm going to blow off my history class today means I'm not going to my history class today. That's not a good idea, by the way, but many students do that. The man says at the end, I hear you. This is a way of saying, I understand you. It's an informal expression. Means, oh yes, I understand, I agree, usually, with what you are saying. It's, again, something you might say to a friend, for example. Your friend says, oh, I just hate driving on the freeway. And you say, I hear you. Means, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. The man at the end says he wants to go get something to eat because he's starved. To be starved means to be very, very hungry. So hungry that you could die from not having enough food. Literally, to starve means to die because you don't eat enough food. But here it's used it's not meant to be literal. It's more of a metaphor. When you say, I'm starving, you mean I'm very, very hungry. It doesn't mean that you will actually die if you don't eat. Now let's listen to the dialogue again, but this time at a faster, normal rate of speech.
It's such a hassle registering for these classes. On top of everything, I have to find myself an apartment.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I had to wait in line 25 minutes just to get a form to register with.
You mean you didn't do it online?
No, I didn't know you could. Did you?
Absolutely. It was still a hassle, but it beats standing in line. Just log in with your student ID number, and then use the last 4 digits of your Social Security number as a temporary password. You can reset the password once you've logged in.
But I'm always afraid the computer is going to screw up my schedule somehow.
Don't worry about it. It isn't a big deal. If you get a confirmation page and print it out, you can always use that at the registrar's office to show them your correct schedule.
Great. I'd love to have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, so I'd have Tuesdays and Thursdays to schedule my work-study assignment.
Makes sense to me. I hate having classes on Fridays, though. I end up blowing off classes more than attending them.
I hear you. Well, I want to go home and log into the website, but first we need to eat. I'm starved. Now let's ask a comprehension question. When did this conversation likely take place? A, before the students had enrolled in the university. B, before a new semester was about to begin. C, after a new semester had begun. Or D, after the students graduated from the university. The correct answer is B, before a new semester was about to begin. The two students are talking about registering for classes. So A is not correct because they have not even enrolled in the university, and you can't register for classes until you enroll or are officially a member or student of a university. Number C, after the new season or the new semester has started, that's incorrect because they're talking about registering, and you have to register for a class before the semester begins. D is also incorrect, after the students graduated, since if you graduate, you leave the university and you will not be registering for any classes. So the correct answer is B, before a new semester is about to begin. I'm Dr. Jeff McQuillan from Los Angeles, California. This has been the TOEFL podcast. Remember, we have another daily podcast that you might be interested that will also help you improve your English. It's called English as a Second Language Podcast, and you can go to our website at www.eslpod.com for more information. We'll see you next time on the TOEFL podcast. TOEFL Podcast is a production of the Center for Educational Development in Los Angeles, California. Copyright 2005. TOEFL is a registered trademark of the Educational Testing Service, which does not endorse and was not involved in the production of this podcast.